Oh, hey there. This is Attempting International Recipes, and in this episode, we're making Bavarian pretzels for a Halloween party. Okay, I've been invited to a Halloween birthday party in July, and so I am making my Halloween special of Attempting International Recipes early this year. So, we are making Bavarian pretzels, and then I'm gonna have like a green dipping sauce, like a cheese dip sauce, to kind of make it look like slime. That's what I thought would be both a tasty and spooky food. There's a lot of spooky foods and there's a lot of tasty foods. There's not a lot of tasty, spooky foods. So this is the compromise I've come up with. I'm going to the party as a vampire, so I've tried to do my makeup more vampy than usual. And I always forget to say this, the whole point of this series is I am not a professional chef, I am just a regular cook attempting international recipes in my regular kitchen. There will be cooking fails and there will be cooking triumphs. I'm hoping this one's a triumph since I'm trying to take it to a party. Now when it comes to Bavarian food, this is one of the cuisines I'm a little more comfortable making. My family is of German descent. I'm American, but we're of German descent. And I grew up making Krautburgers, having bratwursts, all of that. It's one of those flavor palettes I'm fairly comfortable with. It's not something that's new to me. I've actually made pretzels quite a few times. I'm trying a new recipe this time, but the process of making pretzels is something that I love because it's like one step that just turns it magic. And you'll see, you just kind of do something with baking soda. I always make pretzels using baking soda. I don't like messing with lye. It's just like one of those things that's kind of like hazardous to store and crap. I don't deal with lye. I've always used baking soda, and you can make really good pretzels with baking soda. I don't think you need to go out and buy lye. There's tons of recipes out there that are like, you have to have lye. You don't. You can get the like classic German pretzel flavor with baking soda. And with that said, I got my recipe today off of Just Like Oma, quick and easy German recipes. Seems pretty legit. The recipe I used to make pretzels with, I cannot find. It was from like, I want to say the like German American, I don't know, it was like a Chamber of Commerce or something. They had a really legit German pretzel recipe. I made it for years. Everyone loved it, and now I can't find it. I went to go Google it. I'm like, I can't actually find it. So now we're trying Oma's, which seems fairly similar. So, the first step with this, and this is what she does with the baking soda. I can't remember if I did this with baking soda on the last recipe or not. You essentially line a baking sheet with the baking soda and bake it. It's supposed to make some form of chemical reaction happen, makes it more basic or something. I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna go ahead and do it since she suggests it, but I kind of remember just using straight up baking soda in my last one and it was fine. But let's get to it. All right, preheat the oven to 250 degrees. Fun fact about me, I hate foil, I hate parchment paper, and I hate cling wrap because I'm really bad at ripping it. And so like I like the pre-cut sheets of parchment paper. This is the only type allowed in this household. I hate trying to rip this stuff. All right, we got it. Cling wrap's the real enemy for me. But here, we got the foil, and then we need how much baking soda? 6 tablespoons or 108 grams. Now, I learned something from one of you recently. I learned that American tablespoons, teaspoons, cups, all of that is different from European cups, tablespoons, all of that. And that you should go by the weight for sure, but like I had no idea that they were different, and they are. I've like verified this because when the person first commented, I was like, no way. And then I googled it, and they're right. They're like slightly different, and like for something like baking soda, I think it's a big enough difference that it could like actually affect the recipe because it's an active ingredient in there. I'm gonna go weigh this out actually instead of doing the tablespoons. I'm also gonna try to order a set of like European measuring utensils. I'm having a little bit of trouble finding one because like anything on Amazon is like the American version. Anything I can buy here is gonna be an American version. I'm gonna see if I can like buy it from like maybe a British baking supplier and ship it here. God knows what tariff I'm gonna pay for these. I'm gonna get a bill that's gonna like $100 to try and get some UK measuring cups, but I'm gonna try and get some because I didn't even know that was a thing, and it is. So let's do 108 grams of baking soda. We are just going to sprinkle this evenly on our baking sheet. And pop it in there. I threw that in the little toaster oven we have. It tends to do a lower temperature than the actual oven will, and I don't know, it always bakes stuff better. I think since it's smaller, it's more even. If you can fit a baked good in it, it's better to do it in there. I think it's just like a cozy little stove, so I think, especially since it essentially does some form of chemical reaction to make it taste more basic. I don't know. We'll see. But I threw it in there, be in there for hopefully an hour. All right, step 2, prepare 2 baking sheets, lining them with parchment paper and set aside. I have my parchment paper. I've made absolute family heirlooms out of these 2 baking sheets. They've got to be over 20 years old, but why would it not work anymore? They've lasted that long, and they don't burn anything. You got to take the parchment out, put it on the sheet. It's really easy to mess that up. All right, we need to, sounds like proofing the yeast. Add the lukewarm water and sugar into a large mixing bowl or of a stand mixer with the dough hook attachment. Mix the yeast and let stand for 10 minutes till bubbly. Add milk and stir. All right, half a cup of fresh lukewarm water from the faucet. How much yeast do they actually want? I should have cut that. Alright, and let my idiocy be your lesson. Definitely cut with scissors the yeast packet because that got everywhere. I'm gonna get some scissors. Alright, 1 tablespoon of yeast, 1 teaspoon of sugar. Alrighty, and then you just let it stand for about 10 minutes after giving it a mix. Whoop. 1 teaspoon of sugar. All right, it has been 10 minutes. Our yeast has proofed. It got all foamy and puffy and yummy. Well, not really yummy, but it's there. Now we are going to blend the butter, 3 cups of flour, and salt into the yeast mixture. Let the dough hook knead the dough for 5 to 10 minutes, adding more flour as needed. I love this recipe because it uses a dough hook and it's not making me actually knead this stuff. I've done ones where you had to knead it by hand. Was not fun. All right, 2 tablespoons of soft butter. It's gonna be about right there. 1 teaspoon of salt. 3/4 cup lukewarm water in there. And now we're ready for the flour. Let's measure this out. I need 455 grams. Doesn't say like slowly add this or anything, so we're just dumping and letting this go for 10 minutes. Blend on the dough hook for 5 to 10 minutes, adding more flour as needed until smooth and elastic. All right, I'm gonna put it on like a medium speed. Alrighty, we are done with the dough hook here. The dough is looking pretty doughy and yummy. We're gonna just let this sit in this bowl for, cover the bowl with plastic wrap or put the bowl in a plastic bag and let the dough rise for 45 to 60 minutes in a warm spot. All right, we're gonna get this off here, let it rise, and in the meantime, we're gonna make our cheese sauce. Alrighty, we are over here to make the cheese sauce now. And I got this recipe off of, what is this site? West Via Midwest. It's not like an authentic German cheese sauce. I mainly looked for a cheese sauce that would be liquid at room temperature. Essentially, I'm just gonna make this cheese sauce and then dye it green, and that's my spooky food for the Halloween party. All right, first thing we're gonna do, I need to grate 2 cups of cheese and have everything else ready to go, it says. All right, let's get my handy dandy IKEA cheese grater. This thing is like the one they have at Olive Garden. It's amazing. I love it. All right, that is about 2 cups right there. And I can give the rest as cheese tax to the dogs. All right, we need a 1/4 cup of butter to melt. So that's everything but that. Just to have that on medium heat. It's already pretty soft butter, so I think that'll melt pretty quickly. What are we gonna need next? Got our 1/2 cup of flour prepped. Put this over here. Essentially, I think this is gonna be like making a roux. All right, we are melting the butter. Just a little bit more to go. Okay, we're gonna start sprinkling this in. And gonna whisk. It's gonna be a very thick roux. That is super thick, and I'm supposed to cook it for like 2 minutes till the flour is cooked out. That's not really a roux, that's a paste. But we're going by what this says. Okay, we're gonna slowly pour in the milk next and add the mustard. It's 1 cup of milk, 1 cup of whole milk, okay. I'm gonna add this first. Just slowly combine that. Get this even lower. Slowly, we're getting rid of all the lumps. Whoop. Gonna add more of that. Looking like a nice roux there. Oh, great. 1 teaspoon of grainy mustard. I'm gonna eyeball that one. Stir till the lumps are gone. Add in beer and stir. All right, we got 1 cup. We've got Corona beer. That's what was at the house. Gonna put that, stir, bring to a boil until it thickens, 5 to 7 minutes. All right, and now's a good time to tell you I'm not wearing a German apron. I don't have one. I am yet again wearing a family one that's just been sitting around the house for quite a while. So maybe someday I'll get a German apron. All right, it is not yet 5 minutes, but it has thickened plenty, and I do want this to be liquid at room temp, so we're gonna go ahead and move to the next step. All right, we're now going to add the cheese and stir until melted. And then they add salt, pepper, oregano, cayenne, and Worcester. I have liquid smoke. I don't have Worcester, so I'll do a little bit of liquid smoke. And it's essentially spice to taste. We're gonna start adding all of our spices. So 1/2 teaspoon of oregano, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, 1/2 teaspoon, they say 1/4 teaspoon, I'm gonna do 1/2 teaspoon chipotle, because yum, spicy. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon liquid smoke. Get that all stir in. All right, let's get our tasting spoon out. See if we need to add any more. It says serve immediately, but I am taking this to a party, so obviously I'm just gonna take it off the heat, put it in whatever bowl I'm taking it to the party in. Might heat it up there. Ooh. That's good. That is good. Delicious. I'm gonna take it off the heat and I'm gonna add my green food dye to make it spooky. Let's add in the green. And start mixing. Oh, this is gonna be fun. It's gonna probably need quite a bit of the dye. I think one more good squirt we might be there without having to add blue. Did that take at least half a bottle of dye? Yes. Yes, it did. Like, that's a spooky green. That's looking like... It's Shrek green, it really is. Alright. Makes me want to watch Shrek. Now that we got our cheese sauce done, I'm going to put it into a bowl to cool. Hopefully it's going to be room temp and liquid. Now let's get back to making the pretzels. Alrighty, while we were making our radioactive green slime cheese sauce, our pretzel dough has risen quite a bit. I am going to be making these into little pretzel bites because it's going to a party. I don't want big pretzels for people. I want little things they can dip once, not double dip either, and then run off. So we're going to be making these into little balls. This is the part where we also do the baking soda bath to kind of give it that distinct pretzel flavor. I'm also working against the clock here so that I'm not late to this party. It's across town and it's going to take me like 45 minutes to get there, so I got to get rolling on these. Luckily, these only bake for about 15 minutes and might be even quicker since they're just going to be the little bites. Alright, and I'm just going to pinch, roll, and pop over here. Alright, we're supposed to let these rise again for about 15 minutes. In fact, it says it's supposed to be like 2 rises, but I'm running out of time. Alrighty, I took a quick power nap while these were rising because I gotta go to the party like immediately after these are done baking. They have risen for a total of 25 minutes now. I am going to prep the baking soda bath now. We are preheating the oven to 425. Got our 3 cups of near boiling water right there. And I'm gonna go get the baking soda and dissolve it in this. We're just gonna kind of take it, use the foil, shake it in there, and that is pretty dang dissolved. We're gonna drop each in for about 3 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. All right, and these go in for about 15 minutes, and we should be good. Alrighty, let's pop them in. I was supposed to sprinkle those with sea salt. I will get those out and do that real quick. Alrighty. Alright, I am officially running late. I've had to put my costume on right before I am running out the door. The timer has just gone off. Let's grab one over here and give it a taste. If you can't figure it out, I'm supposed to be a vampire. Here's the cheese. Okay, yeah, that is still liquid at room temp. That's exactly what I wanted. And look at that green. Alright. Got one of these pretzel bites. These are hot. I might burn myself. Let's take that, dip it in. That's ridiculously good. That's what the inside of these look like. Nice brown outside. I could have done more to make them like prettier, a little rounder, but they've got that good pretzel-y flavor. The outside's that crunch that you want, and that's what the baking soda really helps get, is this like brown, crusty, crunchy, yummy outside. Those are ridiculously good. I would say this has been a success, and we've made it spooky with our green cheese dip. So, if you like international food content, be sure to like and subscribe to the Fruit Salad Social YouTube series. I'll see you next time. Happy Halloween! Bye!